Hi, I'm Ben, co-founder and commercial lead at Cytix. Thanks for taking a minute to check us out. If you're here, you probably know the pain. Scanners miss complex issues. Manual testing finds them, but it takes forever. And security reviews only happen when someone remembers to tag security in. We built Cytix to take that pain away, turning development tickets into security insights and targeted tests automatically. Rather than me just talking about it, I'll hand you over to Tom, my co-founder, and the brains behind the tech, who'll walk you through a quick demo so you can see it in action. Over to you, Tom.
Thanks, Ben. I think the best way to look at the product is probably through the lens of a ticket as it's actually occurring. So if we look here, what you can see is a classic Jira ticket. You've got a high-level overview, a title, and effectively just a limited piece of information that's been passed to a developer to tell them what to do, what to change. Now, back in the Cytix product, what we've been able to do is identify that change has occurred and combine it with information and context we already have around the asset to be able to produce a summary that's usable for a security tester. Off the back of that, we've generated this mini threat model, which is a list of potential vulnerabilities specific to that change that the tester might want to consider. And then using those, generated these small little testing actions that take sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes up to about 2 hours, but a really micro pen test specifically designed to address those vulnerabilities in that change. And a tester can come in, can ensure these actions get carried out and delivered. And then if I go into one of the tests that's already been completed, you can see how that leads on to being able to highlight particular vulnerabilities that are specifically associated with the change that has occurred. That's got some really novel benefits around remediation and around understanding the kinds of risks that are being introduced by particular changes. But it's also got all of the benefits that you might expect from being able to find out about a vulnerability as soon as possible, right? You're able to address the vulnerability sooner and be exposed for less time, but it's also cheaper to be able to fix the vulnerability because it's always easier to fix something shortly after the mistake has been made. The actual information within the vulnerability is much the same as you'd expect from a traditional penetration test. You've got what was found, how it was found, you've got steps to remediate, and you've also got some collaborative capabilities in there too, to be able to work together with the penetration tester who's found that vulnerability so that they can support you through that remediation process. Back on the Explorer, we're dealing with dummy data here, but what you can usually see is some high-level metrics to help you understand how you're performing. The velocity of changes going on inside your development team, how many of those are potentially risky and therefore warranting testing, how many potential vulnerabilities could have been introduced had security not been considered during the development process, and indeed how many of those did materialize as actual vulnerabilities. What you can then also do is, once you've got this continuous testing underway and you're quite comfortable with it, at various different points throughout the year, produce reports for people like your customers or your auditors to demonstrate to them how you are taking security seriously. Now, this is very, very similar to a traditional penetration testing report in the sense that it's got what the time that the testing occurred over was, it's got what the scope was. One of the really cool things is this is accurate to the very day. So when your customer says, show me a penetration testing report from the application, you don't give them something from 10 months ago. You give them something that says, on this day, based on all of these 10, 20, 30 tests, I'm confident that this is a fair reflection of my security. You can even ask the customer questions like, how much detail would you like to see? Would you like the last 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months worth of security testing, and really impress them with that process? We've got a range of integrations that are also worth having a conversation about, where you can hook this in directly to your existing software development lifecycle software, things like Jira, things like GitHub. You can even hook it up to Slack and Teams to be able to get notifications about when tests are occurring or when vulnerabilities have been found. So there's a full collaboration suite in here to make the security testing run as smoothly and as seamlessly as possible.